So we have another video to go through today to see what we can learn from it. So this video is going to be about apparently how to get your big saggy gut and pull it in and get some shredded six packs or a six pack. So let's watch the video all the way through and then we'll break it down. Okay, so they go over 3 exercises in this video. To start off, this isn't anything about exercises themselves, but I'm so tired of all these videos of people wagging their fingers at you and doing this X gesture. So let's go over the exercises themselves. So the first one is a pullover and basically pulling your knees in. And my problem isn't with these exercises. Most of these exercises are fine as exercises. My biggest problem is that they have this diagram on top, right, with a target showing you what you're working. And if that's what they think they're working, then they don't know what they're talking about because it doesn't really line up with the exercises. So let's break it down one by one and go over the exercises. So the first exercise is basically a pullover and pulling your knees in. So this is fine for core exercise. When you're doing this exercise, right, your knees go down, your arms go up, your body naturally wants to arc, right? Your spine wants to arc. So this is spinal extension. So if you're working against that and trying to keep your body stabilized, that's a good core exercise. You're working anti-extension, and that's completely fine, right? The issue is that they're trying to say, based off of that graphic on top, that this is working your rectus abdominis, which is your six-pack, right? Which is the muscles on the abs in front. But the function of those muscles, when they contract, is spinal flexion. Right, so they're pulling your rib cage towards your hips. So what you want to get is you want to get some spine curling motion to work your rectus abdominis. So what they're doing, they're really just bringing their knees up. And like I said, working, your body wants to arc, so maintaining this is still a core exercise. You're working anti-extension, but this motion itself is a hip flexion exercise because the only thing moving, right, is your legs around your hip joint. If they wanted to make this a rectus abdominis or ab exercise, what they should do is they need a curl, right? Your hips need to come up and around and you need to curl your spine because that's the function of the muscle, right? Likewise, with their pullover, what they could do is they could bring both together. If you brought both together, you'd have spinal flexion on top and spinal flexion below. So exercise itself, not a bad exercise, but it's not doing what they're trying to claim it's doing, which leads to people not understanding, right, the function of the muscle, the function, the reason behind the exercise, which tells me either they don't understand it or they're just throwing up together some graphics and just showing some exercises. And it's completely fine to follow these exercises because they're not bad exercises, they're just not doing what they're trying to tell you it's doing. So let's see what the second exercise is. Okay, the second exercise. Once again, it's not a bad exercise. Problem, once again, is that in the graphic above, they're trying to say this is targeting your upper abs. As we mentioned before, the whole rectus abdominis function is spinal flexion. So if you're not flexing your spine, you're not really targeting that muscle, right? What you are doing, once again, is basically they're exactly the same as the first exercise. You're just basically working on stabilization because as their legs, right, swing, right, your body wants to move. When your legs go down, there's weight pulling away and your body wants to arc. So if you're doing this, your body wants to arc up because you have weight pulling away. So stabilizing your core while doing this is a core exercise, but it's not really a rectus abdominis exercise. And it's definitely not an upper ab exercise because there's no spinal flexion going on. As for the weight they're holding, yeah, I don't know. That's fine to do, I guess, but it's not really adding anything to the abs and the spinal flexion. So that's exercise 2. And let's see what the third exercise is. Okay, so the third exercise is actually better for your rectus abdominis because now they're getting their hips raised, they're curling those hips up, they're getting some spinal flexion, but now they're claiming it's for the obliques. So I don't know what they're doing here, right? The obliques are your sides. The obliques basically are pulling your shoulder blades, I mean not your shoulder blades, your rib cage across at an angle. So now, right, they're holding a weight and they're curling their knees in. So that's good. Hips are getting up, you're getting some spinal flexion, they're working their rectus abdominis now. But they're claiming it's working the obliques, and if you have no kind of side diagonal motion, then you're not working your obliques. So once again, these exercises are all fine exercises. They're just not doing what these guys are claiming they do. So the problem is that either they don't know what they're talking about, or they just threw up some random graphics and are doing some exercises that are okay exercises. But either way, it's not teaching the person who's watching it anything and understanding what they're doing, and it's misleading them in terms of what they think they're doing with each of these exercises. So the exercises themselves, they're fine, but the why behind them have issues. Okay, if you got anything from this video, if you like these breakdowns, please like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. I'm a regular guy trying to help regular people understand some biomechanics and get in shape from home. So if that sounds great, please like, subscribe. If you share, that would be amazing. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. YouTube thinks you like this video right here. Have a great day.